everyone, thanks for joining me here today at Cakes, Cooking and More. I'm Marie Lockwood. Today we are doing some game day snacks. So we have some Bagel Bites with roast beef and cheddar, my version of Bruschetta Toast, and some stuffed mushrooms. So let's see what we need. Okay, so for this recipe, we're using our cheese mixture from the stuffed shells. And you can actually do the stuffed shells with this. I just did them without so that you could see either way. What we're going to do is we're going to take one egg and get that really well beaten. We're just going to get that beaten up. And we're going to take that and we're going to add it to our cheese mixture from yesterday. Okay. Then we need a cup of chopped fresh spinach that I've already rinsed and chopped up so that you don't have to wait through that, but you'll definitely want to get that chopped. And you don't want to use frozen for this. For whatever reason, frozen comes out almost slimy when you cook it. I don't know why, but fresh does really well. So you're going to want it fresh. And you're just going to take your cheese mixture and mix that in real well. And you want to make sure it's well mixed because of that egg is in there. Now, if you are going to add this to your stuffed shells, you'll do 2 eggs. Because remember, we only have half of our cheese mixture left. And you do 2 cups of spinach. But if you're adding it to just what's left, you're cutting that in half, like our cheese has been cut in half. Alright, so once we've got this well mixed, and you can see all the green all through there, so you can see that that's well mixed, you're just going to set that aside. And then we are going to start on our toast. So we'll be right back. So for this part, we're going to take, this is about 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, and you're going to want to double or triple depending on how many you're going to make. Now this is Super Bowl snacks, and since I'm making 3 snacks, I don't need as much. This is 1/8 of a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And you just want to put that in, and you want to use a pastry brush. And I have one here somewhere. There it is. Actually came to with one of the kids' cooking sets. So you just want to get that mixed in really well, so that the oil is covering that. Okay, and then you're going to take, these are some little toast, and these are fresh from the bakery, but you can buy Melba toast if your bakery doesn't make these. And as you can see, they're just little round toast, French bread type thing. You're just going to take a little bit of this oil mixture and put it on there. And this just helps when it cooks to get the bread a little bit softer. Okay, and then you're going to take your cheese, egg, sausage, spinach, everything mixture, and you're going to put around 1 to 2 tablespoons on each piece of toast. And it's really up to you on how much you want to put on there. If you overdo it, it will come right off the sides when the cheese melts and go all over your cookie sheet. So don't do it too much, but about 1 to 2 tablespoons. And you're just going to lay them directly on your cookie sheet and then get your next ones done. And like I said, you can do Melba toast. It's actually not bad, but Melba toast has been stored for a little while in a box, and so it's just not as good as when you get it fresh. But like I said, if your bakery doesn't carry it, don't worry about it, use the Melba toast. Either one works just fine. Okay, now that we have our first batch done, and you can do as many as you want or as few, but I'm saving some of my mixture because I want to be able to do stuffed mushrooms next. So we're going to put these in the oven at 350 for around 12 minutes, and you'll know that they're done because your toast will be nice and brown on the edges. So we'll be back in a few. Okay, so for this recipe, it's a very simple one. I have mini bagels, and you can use the large ones if you want. We do that sometimes. It just depends on how hungry everybody is and how many of us are here. So I take my mini bagels and just pop them into the toaster. And you want to do about medium. You don't want them too dark because we're going to put them in the oven afterwards. You just want those lightly toasted. You're also going to need some slices of medium thin cheddar. I have some shredded roast beef, and I have mustard. I like the mustard, the kids like mustard, Jeff likes mustard. So we use the mustard. If you don't like mustard, you can do mayonnaise. I think the mustard's better, but it's up to you. Alright, so we'll be right back as soon as these come out of the toaster. Okay, now that our little bagels are toasted, you're going to take, I'm using an offset spatula. Ooh, those are hot. Okay, you're just going to take a little bit of your mustard, or whatever it is that you choose to use. You just kind of spread that out a little. Okay. Then we take a little clump of our shredded roast beef. You can put as little or as much as you like. I like mine a little hearty there. Alright, and then we just take a slice of our cheddar, and I just fold it twice so that I have little squares. And I just put one square on top, and then put that on my little baking sheet. And we just keep going like that with the rest of them. And then we'll be back. Okay, now that our bagel bites are all put together, we're going to put these in the oven at 350, and you don't need to do a whole long time. It's about 5 minutes. We just really want that cheese to melt on top, and then we'll be back. Okay, so for this recipe, we have some little mushrooms that we have cleaned up, and we're just going to take a very small spoon. We just want to carefully cut around that stem and pull that out, set it to the side. Now, some people take their little spoon and they clean out the insides of the mushroom to get more toppings in. And I do that a little bit, but not a whole lot. So what I've got here, as you can see, the stem has been removed and there's plenty of little room. Alright, so we're going to take a little bit of vegetable oil, and this is my oven-safe dish. I'm just going to spray a little bit so that nothing sticks to it. So as I've cleaned out these little mushrooms, I'm going to put them right there. And we're just going to keep going until we've got them all done. And then we'll be back. Okay, now that we have all of our little stems separated and our little mushrooms are hollow, I'm just going to take a knife and chop these stems pretty small. You want it to mix well into our cheese and bread mixture. Once we've got our mushroom stems chopped pretty small, we're going to take those and a little bit of the cheese mixture that we have left over from the stuffed shells from yesterday and from the bruschetta breads that we made a little bit ago. We're just going to add those little bit of mushroom stems. Try to get that mixed well with your cheese. And anyone who has cooked mushrooms knows that they kind of shrink when you cook them. But even if it looks like you suddenly have way too much mushroom, they shrink so much that it ends up not being as much as you think. Alright, now we have some Italian style breadcrumbs. I have 1/4 cup here. And I'm making such a small batch that I'm going to do about half of that and see what my consistency is before I add the other half. Should look a little bit gritty where you can see the breadcrumb, but it should still stick together well. See Okay, mushing it down, everything's still packing well, so that's what we want. Now, of course, normally you would make a much bigger batch and you would use more of the breadcrumb, but since mine is such a small one, it just didn't need as much. Alright, now what we're going to do is we are going to take our little hollowed out mushrooms, and we're going to take each one and just pack that stuffing down in there. You want each of them really full, and you can mound over the top just a bit. You don't want to do too much, but you know, a little bit. You're going to do each of those, and then we'll be back. Okay, now that we have all of our little mushrooms stuffed, we're going to put this into the oven at 400, and it takes about 25 minutes. Now, I do mine at 20, and then I check them just to make sure I don't overcook them. And you'll know when they're done because they turn this really kind of darkish, caramelized brown color. It's a little hard to describe, but the mushroom itself, you know, it starts out white. It'll be a darker brown, and all of the cheese will be melted. Okay, so we'll be back then. Now that everything is done, we have our little bagel bites with roast beef and cheddar. We have our little version of bruschetta toast, and we have our stuffed mushrooms. I hope you enjoy this food as much as my family does. Thanks for joining me here today at Cakes, Cooking, and More. I'm Marie Lockwood. Have a great day.